We all know that we're going to die. That's the only fact of life. You didn't tell me you couldn't even go and get a $20 a month term life insurance policy? This is an example of the fard ain overstepping individual obligations, overstepping the community and oppressing the communal obligations. What's an example of the communal obligations oppressing the individual? Right? I said in the beginning, we're usually in this habit of just work without a strategy, without a vision. And then by the time we pick our head up, we're getting divorced. By the time we pick our head up, we realize that our health have failed us. Right? By the time we pick our head up, we realize that our own personal finances are in a shambles. Because we've allowed the community. And sometimes the community is like it's like this tree, and certain people in the community will continue to just pluck until there is nothing left. And then they'll start cutting the limbs. Right? So it's one thing just to be addicted to just working for the sake of work, but intelligence dictates that we have to have a strategy about this. Some of us are operating with outdated models. Some of us are still kind of, stuck in the 60s and the 70s in terms about how to move projects forward. It's a reality, right? It's like Imam that's still selling cassette tapes, right? Or maybe even now, maybe even CDs, right? Because cars nowadays, new cars don't even have CD players anymore. Right? It's like, so I'm looking like, I want to support you, but I need the MP3s. Right? And so one of the things I can say about Imam Fahim, one of my teachers are here, is I visit aclearunderstanding.net, and you should do too. I visit and I really appreciate how he's connected with technology. Right? Very, very important. And I've probably benefited, and when we should support our teachers and leaders financially as well. But if we be honest, I probably benefited more from all the free content he put out because he gives a lot. But that's an example of of one of our teachers who are really, really connected with technology and reaching into I would say the popular culture. Right? Pulling, being culturally relevant is also very, very important. So those are examples of how we have a tendency to let the communal obligations overstep our individual obligations. And I think the imams that are the imams and community leaders and sisters that are coming up today, we are not willing to let the community overstep our personal obligations, right? And it shouldn't. Right? It's a fard. The community shouldn't make you lose your job. The community shouldn't. If that's the case, then something is wrong with the community and with the leadership. The community work shouldn't cause you to become divorced. I've seen imams whose community workers whose very own children don't even know the basics of the religion. That's not the community's job. That's your job as a parent. And so Sunday school just become a babysitting entity. Someone just to kind of just drop your children off. Right? But that is a personal, individual obligation. Right? And so we go to communities around the country that are in our association. And sometimes you go and you say, just an example, who's the imam? Right? And 20 brothers raise their hand. I'm an imam. So you got like 20 imams under one roof. And so then the next question is, where are you going? فَأَيْنَ تَذْهَبُونَ? This is what the Quran says. Right? What does the community look like? One of Imam Muhammad's prayers, rahimahullah, he talked about how Allah is blessing more professionals, the community with more professionals. And I think this is one of the things that we really, really have to focus on. And I'm not talking about professionals in like a white-collar job. I'm talking about professionals, people who know technology, people who know how to pull from popular culture and technology and all these things for the benefit of their work and for the benefit of the community. Right? And so one of the things at Ibrahim Islamic Center at the beginning of the year, we actually had a strategic consultant to come in. And this is like year 5 for us. And some communities don't do this till year 30. Right? And it was like a 20 minutes, thank you. It was a weekend over 3 weekends. And the consultant is still working to making sure that we're on point. In other words, what is your goal? Because in the beginning, we were all over the place. We were like the Walmart of organizations, right? We do everything, come one, come all, low prices, live. Man, we were just like all over the place, right? Homeless feeding this weekend, doing this that weekend, and doing this. And it's just like we were just burnt out. And one of this is because of vision. Because we have this passion to just help and serve, but we're not really going. It's like, no, what is the overarching strategic vision? And that overarching strategic vision, and then what is the mission? And it has to be more than the statement that most of our communities just kind of copy and paste from one web page to the other. Now, what is your particular strategy? What are the things that you're going to do, and what are the things that you're not going to do? Because we can't do everything effectively. And so one of the things that she helped us to understand was it's better to do 3 things very, very well and make an impact than to be trying to do 10 and 15 things with mediocrity. That's so very important, right? And so with that, like the stress levels begin to come down. People can also focus on other areas of their life, and you can actually focus on community, right? And you don't have to be the person that every time you come and you sit down and you're talking, it's just about work. Right? It's also about, how's your family? And in a way, not like this checklist list when Muslims see you, Assalamu alaikum, how's your family? How's your children? How's your deen? It's not I get out of here with that, man. Just running down the checklist. So it is really like I know the names of your children. I know Qasim and Khalil, right? I know Qadir and Noura and Fatima, right? And we come together and we break bread and we eat and and then of course and that gives you the energy to get back to the work. And so my encouragement, inshallah, I don't want to be, Allah gives us signs and we see the people who came before us, the work that they put in, and we're certainly grateful for that. But we also see the mistakes that were made. And so this thing called regret minimization analysis, let me write that up there because I may have, doesn't work. The blue? Okay. It's called regret minimization analysis. So where I got this from is Who knows who Jeff Bezos is? Amazon. Right? If you don't own any of the stock, you should buy some. Right? We use it at, how much stuff we buy off of Amazon. Right? That's a finance tip for you. So before he started Amazon, and Jeff Bezos is from Houston. He went to River Oaks Elementary. Before he started Amazon, he was working at some hedge fund. And he went and he talked to the manager center. He's thinking about quitting because he wanted to start this thing, right? And he came up with this. There's actually like a 3 or 4 minute YouTube clip where he's talking about this. And he formed what he called the regret minimization analysis. He saw himself at the age of 70, 80, and 90. And he looked back and was like, okay, well, could I possibly have regrets? If I stay put where I'm at, would I regret not stepping out and starting something, even if I fail? And it's what he called regret. And so he began to walk back the regrets and try to minimize the regrets that he could possibly have for not stepping out. And so he stepped out, worked hard, of course, and now they're about to put Walmart out of business. They got Walmart moving into, an online space. So regret. What would regret minimization analysis look for community workers, brothers and sisters? It should look like that when I turn 60, 70, 80 years old, and all of this is inshallah, bi'ithnillah, with Allah's permission, but I won't be a person that has just like lost my health. Right? What are the four pillars of health? Sleep, nutrition. Sleep, which I'm running short on right now. Sleep, nutrition, exercise, and stress reduction. Right. The four pillars. And I would say nutrition and exercise is probably the most important of those two. Nutrition even more. Right. And we're losing our health. That's one of the issues. And so what happens is that affects your work. That affects your work. I don't care how many salah and dhikr you do. If you're unhealthy, that affects your work. That affects the way we think. That affects the way we deal and vibe with others. Right? And so you have the imam that leaves the masjid or community meeting or whatever, and he's so stressed out or whatever, he sleep deprived or whatever the case may be, and he may go home and kick the cat and scream at his wife and do all these things, right? And so what we have is this thing where we are extra nice to the community, but go home and oppress our families. And 10 years go by, and then we come to our senses. Wow, I can't believe that I treated my wife like that. Right? Or I can't believe that I treated my children like that. And we're asking for all the forgiveness. And yes, do that. Right? Regret minimization analysis, right? And these are hard truths, and they're counterintuitive for our community, I sincerely believe, right? Because we're like, let's just jump in head first and just be about the work. Like this locker room mentality, right? Just football players high-fiving each other with no strategy. Rah, 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 rah. Beating up the lockers. It's a pep rally. No, we gotta think through this. Right? What's another thing? Finances. Right? I don't know, I don't think, in our association, there's probably maybe 2 or 3 masajid that pay the imam a comparable salary to be an imam. So it's like now, or even any other community worker, right? And maybe even